Good morning. Hope I'm audible. Please message your attendance in the chat window. So Nigel is there. Nigel. Okay. So I hope you're able to see your program. You have a mic, no, Nigel? Do you have a mic? Okay, you can message me in the chat. Tell me what is the importance of this header file, which I didn't teach, and you don't have any kind of programming background, right? So why did you use this hash include stdlib.h? What is the purpose of that header file in your program? You have to give me an answer, Nigel, if you want to attend my classes in the future. Nigel, are you going to say something or should I remove you from the meeting? So you're saying like they had that header file and you just added that. Is that what you're saying? Or did you copy and paste it from somewhere? Nigel, are you saying the truth or are you lying to me? I'll check the code. If it is available like this in any of the sites, you will never be permitted to attend my classes. You have a choice now. Either you can say the truth or you can stick on to what you're saying. I just want to know whether you have copy pasted or not. So now you're saying the truth. So Nigel, I am not teaching for the first time. I know whether you have copied or not. So you have copied from Google. Now you can call me after the class. I'll let you know what you have to do. So this is where we had stopped yesterday. That is, we had stopped with the bitwise operators. So is there anyone who has any kind of doubts till here? If you have one.
Ma'am, can you please explain shift once more?
Okay, fine. So we'll continue with the shift operation. So just a second. So here we have 12, right? So 12 in binary, it would be 1100. So I'm using 8 bits. So this would be the representation for 12. That you know, right? So this would be the representation for 12 in 8 bits. Now what I'm doing is I have to do a left shift. So left shift by 2. So 2 bits I have to shift to the left. So if I shift it to the left 2 bits, what would be the result? Here, this will move out, right? So here I will be having 0, 0, 1, 1, then 0, 0, and you have empty spaces here. So those space would be filled again with zeros. So the result would be what? It would be 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3, 2 raised to 4, 2 raised. This would be the result. So it is 32 plus 16, which would give me a 48. So the result should be 48. Okay, so that is what happens with left shift. So how many bits you shift, depending upon that, you will be having the answer. Okay, if I had shifted it once, means one bit would move to the left. Is it okay, Albert?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so to the right shift, if I am doing it to the right, you'll do the opposite. That is, you'll have 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. If I move it to the right, I have given it here 2 bits. That is why I have to shift it 2 bits to the right. So 2 bits to the right means this will move out. So I'll have 1, 1, then I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 8 bits. So that is in binary 3. So I'll be having a value of 48 and 3. So here you can see I'll be having the value of 48 and 3. So actually what happens is when you shift it to the left by 1 bit, it is actually multiplying by 2. So if it is shifting by 2 bits means it is multiplying by 4. Similar to that, to the right, it is dividing. So is it okay? If it is
Yes,
okay, please
ma'am.
message in the chat. So Albert is okay. What about others? Okay, Sandesh, Albert, Matthew, Ashwin, okay. Zahan, okay. Okay. So we'll move on. So next is something called as special operators. So C supports special operators like comma, size of, pointers. So pointer operators we will be seeing in our later modules as well as member selection operators. This also we'll be seeing in our later modules like structure when you use, you'll be using the member selection operators. So those we'll be seeing in the later modules, but we'll see what is meant by comma operator as well as a size of operator. So comma operator, it can be used to link the related expressions together. A comma link list of expressions, they are evaluated left to right, and the value of the rightmost expression is the value of the combined expression. So I'll show you an example for that. So here you can see that I've declared 3 variables and I've told like z is equal to x is equal to 10, y is equal to 5, and I have put x plus y. So what happens is that first this would be evaluated. I'll be assigning a value of 10 to x, then I'll be giving the value of 5 to y, then I'll calculate what is x plus y. So I'll be getting the value of z as 15. So you can see this is how comma operator would work in expressions. So is it okay? If it is okay, we'll move on. Okay, Atulya, Zahan. Only two people have understood. Adarsh, okay, Albert, okay. Okay, Sandesh, Karthik, okay, Vishnu. So we'll move on. Next is something called as a size of operator. So size of operator, it is a compile time operator, and when used with an operand, it would return the number of bytes the operand occupies. So it is a unary operator. So unary operator means you will have only one operand. So plus can be a binary operator. It will have two operands. This is binary. Unary means if I write it like this, it would be unary. So the operand may be a variable, a constant, or a data type qualifier. So the size of operator is normally used to determine the length of arrays and structures when their sizes are not known to the programmer. So we'll be dealing with arrays in the next module. Structure will come later. So it is also used to allocate memory space dynamically to variables during the execution of a program. So this is an example. You can see that I've declared different variables of different data types. So int a, float b, double c, and character d. So now you can see that I've tried to display whatever is the size of int on my system, what is the size, likewise for float, double, and character. So here you can see that it is taking only one operand. That is why it is a unary operator. So it will give me what is the size of int allocated internally. So it is saying like for my machine, int is 4 bytes, float is also 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes, and character is allocated 1 byte. So this is what happens. This is the use of size of. So you can also give constants also. So if you want to give, you can give size of 134 and all. So that is how it works. So if it is okay, please message in the chat. So you can also try out to see what is the size of int, float, double, character, or long in the and all in your machine. So why no response? Okay, Adarsh. Okay, Zahan. Sandesh. Okay. So only three people have understood. Okay, Amal, Abhinav, okay, Ashwin. Okay. Adulya and Maria. Okay, fine. So we'll continue. Then you have precedence of arithmetic operators. So precedence means what is the priority that is given to an arithmetic operator. So an arithmetic expression without parentheses will be evaluated from left to right using the rules of precedence of operators. So for arithmetic operators, you might know that this is these operators, that is multiplication, division, and modulus. They are given the higher priority compared to the lower priority addition and subtraction. So if you have an arithmetic expression where you have, say, different operators, say a into b plus c, this would be evaluated first because this is of a higher precedence. So the basic evaluation procedure include two left to right passes through the expression. So during the first pass, the high priority operators, if any, are applied as they are encountered. The second pass, the low priority operators, if any, are applied. So in this case, you'll have two passes where first A into B would be calculated and the result, say if it is R, then R plus C would be calculated. So that is how it works. So precedence is used to determine how an expression involving more than one operator is evaluated. So there are distinct levels of precedence and an operator may belong to one of these levels. So the operators at higher precedence, they are evaluated first. The operators of same precedence, they are evaluated either from left to right or from right to left, depending on the level. So this is known as the associativity of an operator. So if you have a different operator, if you have multiple occurrence of the same operator, you have to go for associativity. So in the case of logical AND, it is guaranteed that the second operand will not be evaluated if the first is 0. The reason is that for logical AND, both has to be true, right? So this has to be true as well as the second one has to be true in order to get a true result. So if the first one is a false, the second one need not be executed because ultimately the result would be a false. So you need not check for the second one. So that is how it works. So have you understood the first sentence? If you have understood the first sentence, please message in the chat, because for logical and so Matthew is asking me why we need size. So Matthew, Abhijit, there might be cases where you want to know the size of the operand. So I did not add any program like that. So if there are instances where you need to know the size of your array or your structure, so that we will be learning in the later modules. So if you want to know the size of those things, you can use size of operator. So this one, first sentence, have you understood? If you have understood, okay. So because both has to be true. Okay. So that is the first case, because first, anyway, both has to be true in order to get the result to be true. If the first one itself is false, the second one, whether it be true or false, the result is going to be false. So that is why second one need not be evaluated. That is the first case. This case of logical OR, if you have, say, first is true, then whatever be the second one, either it can be true or false, but anyway, the result is going to be true. So that is why in the case of logical OR, the second operand will not be evaluated if the first is non-zero. So that is the meaning. So you have the how logical and logical OR works. So precedence rules, they decide whether the order when different operators are applied, and associativity rule decides the order when multiple occurrences of the same level operator are applied. So here I'll give you an example for associativity. Suppose I need to do A plus B, say I'll take plus itself. So now tell me, now you need to use the associativity rule, because we are using the same operator, that is plus and plus. It has the same precedence because it is the same operator, it has the same priority. Now tell me, here you have to use associativity because of the same level, they are the same operator. Now tell me what would be done. Should you do A plus B or B plus C? So if you know the answer, you can either unmute and speak or you can message in the chat. Either is fine. So I know response. Again, this is nursery mathematics, right? A plus B plus C. Which calculation would you do first? So Atulya is saying that she will go for A plus B. What about others? So Albert is saying he will do B plus C. Okay, Vishnu is also saying A plus B. Amal A plus B. Matthew A plus B, okay. So there are around 60 students here and only 4 or 5 have responded. What about others? You don't know how to do addition, simple addition. So Abhinav A plus B, okay. So most of you are saying A plus B. I got only one different response, that is from Albert, who said he will do B plus C. So Albert, you cannot go for B plus C because associativity rule for plus is left to right. So B has to go with plus. This operation would be performed first, not this. So A plus B will be performed first, then you'll go and whatever is the result, you'll add it with C. So that is how associativity rule works. So C supports these many number of operators. You can see that the level, that is here they have given level. Anyway, the priority here it is 1. It should be 15. That is, this is of the higher priority and comma is having the least priority. So here you can see that when you have brackets, member selection or post increment, decrement, then if you have the array, we'll be using like this for arrays. So if you have array subscript, that has to be evaluated first. Similar to that, you can see when you have prefix increment decrement, then you have unary plus minus, those operators will be done second. So again, you can see that arithmetic operators, they are having a higher precedence than relational operators. Then equality inequality is coming after that, bitwise and all is coming after that. Last, you have the assignment operators, and the least one would be the comma operator. So this is the precedence. And on this side, you can see the associativity. So most of them are having left to right associativity, but the prefix increment and all, they have right to left. So you don't have to by heart everything here, but at least remember the precedence of some of the operators. So now you need to do an example for this one. You need to do this equation. So I have given you an equation. I is equal to 2 into 3 by 4 plus 4 by 4 plus 8 minus 2 plus 5 by 8. So you can see there are different precedents. That is star division, they have a higher precedence than addition and subtraction. So tell me what would be the steps. So write it fast in your notebook. So write in your notebook what would be the steps. So after you complete, let me know in the chat. So don't do everything in a single step. Write all the intermediate steps. So have you completed? So why no response? Are you people there? So this is not programming, it is simple mathematics. Okay, Sandesh is there. So have you completed it, Sandesh? Okay. So okay, Albert has completed, Sandesh has completed. So I'll give attendance to only these two because I think only these two people are there. Okay, Sean. So only three people are there. Okay, Elsita. So Elsita, tell me what would be the first operation that you have to do? Elsita, are you there? Okay, tell me what is the first operation that you have done? You can either unmute and speak or you can message in the chat. So why no response, Elsita? You said that you have completed, right? Yeah, you have to do multiplication. So for that, you took so much time. So here we'll do the multiplication first because multiplication and division, it is having the same precedence. So you'll have 6 by 4 plus 4 by 4 plus 8 minus 2 plus 5 by 8. Now what you have to do is you have to do this. So that will give me what? It will give me 1 because I am taking it in integers. So 1 plus 4 by 4 plus 8 minus 2 plus 5 by 8. Again, if I do, it will be 1 plus, again, it has to do this one. So 1 plus 1 plus 8 minus 2 plus 5 by 8. So next, what would be the operation, Sandesh? Sandesh is here. Yeah, division. Yeah, correct. So next I have to go and do the division because now you have different plus and minus. So those have lesser precedence. I have to go and do the division now. Now again it is in integers, so I'll get a 0. So now I have to add these two. So I'll get 2 plus 8 minus 2. Here I have a plus 0. So now I'll get 10 minus 2 plus 0. This I'll get 8 plus 0. I'll ultimately get an 8. So I think 8 is the answer, right? Did you get an 8? Okay, Alcita, I saw the message. So that is the importance of precedence and associativity. So if the concept is clear, please do message in the chat. If you have any doubts, you can ask. So I hope it is clear. So next we'll see something related to input and output. So hope the PPT is visible. So you know already these things, but anyway, I am taking it. So there exist several functions that are used for standard input and output operations in C. These functions, they are collectively known as standard input output library. So the file name stdio.h, it is an abbreviation for standard input output header file. And when you say hash include stdio.h, it would tell the compiler to search for a file named stdio.h and it would place the contents in the program. So now the contents of that header file would become part of the source code when it is compiled. So this you already know. So now we'll see how to read a character. I have already told you how to read a character by using scanf. So the simplest of all input-output operations is reading a character from the standard input unit and writing it to a standard output unit. So reading a character can be done using getchar function or using scanf. So scanf we have already seen. Now we'll see one of the other methods that is called as getchar. So this is how you can do. Variable name is equal to getchar. So variable name, it is any valid variable name that has been declared as the character type. So here you can see that I've added one small program to check whether the entered thing is a character or a digit. So character, I meant an alphabet. So here what I've done is I'm pressing any key on the keyboard and I have declared my variables to be of size, type character. So now you can see that for this program, CH is not required. I have modified the program. So anyway, C is required. So C is equal to getchar. So now I am taking the character. Now I need to check whether the entered key is either an alphabet or a digit. So for that, I have different methods. So here you can see is alpha. So is alpha, if I put C into that, if I pass C into that function, and if it returns a value greater than 0, then it would indicate an alphabet. Similar to that, there is also something called as is digit. So else if is digit of C, if it is greater than 0, then it would say that you have entered a digit. So for including these functions here, I need to add one header file. So that is called as ctype.h. So I have to add one header file, that is ctype.h, in order to use my functions is alpha and is digit. So if I enter a key, say T, I'll be getting the message you have entered an alphabet. So if is the program clear? If you have understood, please message in the chat. So I'm checking whether I have entered an alphabet or a digit. So it should be alphabet or digit, not character or digit. So why no response? It's a small program, right? Okay, Atulya, Fatima, okay. Sahan, Sandesh, okay, fine. Saind, okay. Okay, so we'll move on. So now you can see that I have entered the same, that is the same program. Okay, what I have to do is before this, I have to ask you people to do the program. So do it fast. Anaga is asking me to repeat. Okay, Anaga, just a second. So my aim of the program is I need to check whether when I press a key on the keyboard, I need to check whether that entered key is either a character or a digit. Okay. So now you can see that CH is not required. It's not used in the program. So here you can see that I am taking a character C and I'm giving a message like enter any key. Now I'm normally we would have used scanf, but instead of that I'm using a function called as getchar. So C is equal to getchar. That means whatever I press through my keyboard, that will get stored into my character C. So now I need to check whether this entered character is an alphabet or a digit. So what I need to use is one method that is we'll call it as a function. So because I teach Java, I use methods there. So if is alpha C, so if is alpha C greater than 0, so this is a function. Is alpha is a function defined inside C, and it would take one character. It would return a value greater than 0 only for alphabets. Likewise, there is another function called as isDigit. So isDigit, when you pass one character, it will return a value greater than 0 only for digits. So I have given a message like you have entered an alphabet, or for this case, you have entered a digit. And if it is not alphabet or digit, I have given an else case like you did not enter an alphanumeric character. So in order to use isAlpha and isDigit, these functions need to be defined somewhere, right? Because for stdio.h, we are using that for printf, scanf and all for input output operations. For these methods, they are defined in one header file called as ctype.h. So that is why I have a statement like this, hash include ctype.h. Now is it clear? If it is clear, okay, Anaga. What about others? Okay. So now do the program fast. So have you completed it? So just a second. Please listen what I'm saying. So modify the same program and add do while. So when you come for the Friday class, just modify the same program, add do while, and you will face some issues. So anyway, write do while, you read a character like you need to press Y or y to repeat, and n or n would indicate that you need not repeat. So this should be the condition that you have to give. So include do while in the same program. So that is for today. Now you may leave the meeting.